Hi Ruth, welcome in Amsterdam. We are here to celebrate your debut as a thriller author, which has already been sold to 31 countries.
Yeah, 31 so far. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Movie rights also?
Movie rights have been optioned by New Line Cinema, and Reese Witherspoon is attached to produce, which is incredibly exciting. So
it is.
Yeah, I can't quite believe it.
The biggest honor for you as an author? A movie of the book?
It's just different, I think. And also, I haven't seen the film, so you never quite know if the film is going to be your vision of the book. Or sometimes the best films are ones that are completely different, you know, where they take the characters or the situation and run with them in an entirely different way. No, I mean, it's all amazing. I think the thing that most made me pinch myself was getting on the New York Times bestseller list. I never expected that. And that
for weeks.
Yeah, when I see it on the front of the book now, I'm kind of like, really? Did I really do that? And yeah, if I had a wish list, it would have probably been to sell the film rights and to get on some bestseller lists. So it's absolutely incredible that it's done that, but I never expected it to do as well as it has.
The fact that you worked as a publicist at a publishing house helped you?
I guess it helped in a way because I've spent so long helping other authors to do what I'm doing now, you know, saying, explaining about interviews and what people are trying to get across. But I don't think it helped in the sense of, I don't think anybody who was buying the book particularly knew my background or knew that I'd worked in the trade. And to be honest, I don't think they would have really cared if they had known, because, you know, books have to stand or fall on whether they're a good read.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter who you are unless you're incredibly famous.
No, that's true, but maybe you did know very well which ingredients are essential for a
I certainly spent
bestseller.
A lot of time reading other people's books and reading manuscripts and talking about them in editorial meetings. And I think the one thing that I took from it is that you have got to give people a reason to turn the page and a reason to keep reading. And so I guess when I was writing my book, I thought, well, you know, if I get one thing right, I want people to want to finish the chapter and to want to find out what happens to these characters.
Where did you get the idea for this book?
Well, it was initially from a friend of mine who reads a lot of thrillers, and we were talking about, you know, what we'd read and what we'd recommend. And she said that she'd never read a thriller set on a hen night. And I immediately thought, neither have I. And I don't know why not, because actually it's a very good setting for kind of tensions to arise, you know, the fact that you're all sort of cooped up together and you can't get away, and there's often a lot of alcohol involved, you know, maybe other substances as well. And it's a tense point in the bride's life. You know, she's about to make a monumental decision which will affect the rest of her life. So in a way, it's amazing that there aren't more problems, you know, hopefully not murders, but, you know, that more hen nights don't end up in arguments and sort of tensions. And I immediately thought, what an amazing setting for a book. I would really like to write this book. And as I walked home from our coffee, and these characters were kind of coming into my head, and I was imagining the setup, and yeah, and it just sort of, the beginning almost wrote itself.
What was the most challenging part to write?
Probably the technical aspect that was most challenging was the fact that the story is told in 2 timelines. So, as you know, we have the story of the girls at the hen night, but we also have a present day timeline, which is 48 hours later when Nora has woken up in hospital and she's had a head injury and she's struggling to remember what happened at the party. So the book cuts between Nora's memories of the party and her experience in hospital as she recovers and as the police begin to question her. And she's not quite sure what she's done or why the police are questioning her, and she starts to believe she might be a suspect. And that was technically interesting but quite challenging, to make sure that I got the reveals of the plot at the right place in both timelines.
Do you feel pressured, this book being so well received?
I Yeah, I do. I mean, I think it helped that the sequel I wrote mostly before this book was published, so I had no idea. I mean, I knew that it was selling to other territories and that it had been quite well received by editors, but no readers had read it at that point. It hadn't been on any bestseller list. The film rights hadn't sold, so I was writing book 2 from quite a safe place. I knew it would be published, but that was about it. Now I'm starting on book 3, and that really does feel like, oh, I've got to get this right.
And is she back? Still.
Different group of people.